Welcome back to Statistics Made Simple, and I'm Savita Balsang. In this video, I have solved Model 3 paper for the second PUC students. I really hope it will be useful to most of you. Section A, first main, choose the most appropriate answer from the choices given. 5 into 1 is equal to 5. First question, in a life table, the size of the cohort is longevity, radix, mortality ratio, survival ratio. The correct answer is the radix. Second question, the regular, periodic and short-term variation in a time series is called irregular variation, cyclical variation, seasonal variation, secular trend. It is the seasonal variation. Third, in a hypergeometric distribution, if A is 2, B is 4 and N is 3, the range is x is 0, 1, x is 0, 1, 2, x is 0, 1, 2, 3 and x is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So the range for the hypergeometric distribution is x is equal to 0, 1, 2, so on. It is minimum of A, N. So this is 0, 1, 2, so on. Minimum of, it is 2, 4 and the minimum of 2, 4 is 2. So the correct option is x is equal to 0, 1 and 2. Fourth question, there are 4 possible decisions under the testing of null hypothesis H0. First one, accept H0 when it is true, accept H0 when it is not true, reject H0 when it is true, and reject H0 when it is not true. So the correct decisions are, it is 1 and 4. So accepting H0 when it is true is type 2 error, and rejecting H0 when it is not true, that it is false, it is type 1 error. Next question, the fifth one, graphical solution to the linear programming problem lies in the fourth quadrant, third quadrant, second quadrant and first quadrant. The correct answer is the first quadrant because of the non-negativity restriction, that is x and y are always greater than or equal to 0. The second main, fill in the blanks by choosing the most appropriate answers given in the brackets. 5 into 1 is equal to 5. Sixth question, the total fertility rate of a population in a year is the total of blank age specific fertility rates of females of childbearing age. The correct answer is quinennial. ASFR. Seventh one, the factor reversal test is satisfied only by, the correct option is Fisher's index number. The standard deviation of a Bernoulli distribution is root of PQ, where Q is equal to 1 minus P. Ninth one, the standard error of the sample proportion P is, the correct option is root of PQ divided by N. 10th one, the equipment is replaced at the end of a year for which the annual average cost is the least. Third main, match the following. 11th question, subdivision A, NRR per woman is equal to 1.1. So because it is greater than 1, it means that the population is increasing. So this is option A. Second, Paget's index number shows a downward bias. So we write B. Poisson distribution, the mean is equal to the variance, that is equal to lambda. So this is option C. Then maximum size of the test is called as the level of significance. So here we mark D. And the physical stock of goods is called as the inventory. So we mark E. Fourth main, answer the following questions. 5 into 1 is equal to 5. The 12th question, mention any one of the characteristics of index numbers. So these are the 4 characteristics. You can write any one of them. Index numbers are specialized type of averages. Index numbers are expressed in ratios, but for comparison purpose they are expressed in percentages. Third, index numbers study the effect of factors that cannot be measured directly. And fourth, index numbers facilitates the comparison. So you can write any one out of 4. 13th question, write the median of a t distribution. So the t distribution is a symmetric distribution, that is the mean is equal to median is equal to mode, and because the mean of the t distribution is 0, so it means that the median is also equal to 0. 14th question, define point estimation. So if a single value is proposed as an estimate for the unknown population parameter, it is called as point estimation. 15th one, which type of cause of variation is detected by statistical quality control? The answer is assignable causes of variation. 16th one, write the formula of to date annual average cost in a replacement problem. So the annual average cost is denoted by AN, which is equal to P minus SN, which is the depreciation cost, plus summation CI, that is the cumulative maintenance cost, divided by N, which stands for the number of years. Section B. Fifth main, answer any 5 of the following questions. 5 into 2 is equal to 10. 17th question, state 2 conditions of least squares method of measuring trend. The first one is summation y minus yc. That is the estimated equation. This should be equal to 0. And second is summation y minus yc, the whole square is the least. 18th question, define interpolation and extrapolation. So what is interpolation? It is the process of finding the value of y for a given value of x which lies in the range x0, xn. And extrapolation is the process of finding the value of y for a given value of x which lies outside the range x0, xn. 19th question. Find the mean of a hypergeometric distribution with parameters a equal to 6, b equal to 4 and n equal to 5. So we know the formula of the mean of the hypergeometric distribution. It is E of x is equal to NA divided by A plus B. So the formula will carry 1 mark and the final answer will carry 1 mark. So it is 5 into 6 divided by 6 plus 4. So it is 30 divided by 10, or the answer is 3. 20th question. Find the variance of a chi-square distribution with 8 degrees of freedom. So it's given that the degrees of freedom is 8. So it means that the parameter of the chi-square distribution is n, which is equal to 8. Then you write the formula for the variance of a chi-square distribution, that is V of chi-square is equal to 2n, which is 2 into 8, and so the answer is 16. Next we move on to the 21st question. So 21st question is define type 1 error and type 2 error. So what is type 1 error? So when we reject H0, when H0 is true, where H0 is the null hypothesis, then it is called as the type 1 error, and the type 2 error is we accept H0 when it is false, that is called as the type 2 error. 22nd question. If x bar 1 minus x bar 2 is 2.6 and standard error of x bar 1 minus x bar 2 is 1.3, find the value of the test statistic. So this is based on large sample test, that is test for equality of means. So the formula of z is equal to, it is x bar 1 minus x bar 2, and we actually know that the denominator is root of sigma 1 squared by n1 plus sigma 2 squared by n2. That is nothing but the standard error of x bar 1 minus x bar 2, and we know that this follows normal 0, 1. So substituting, we get z is equal to 2.6 divided by 1.3. So which implies that z is equal to 2, which is the final answer for the test statistic. 23rd question. If p dash is 0.1 and n is equal to 100, calculate the upper control limit for D chart. So this is a case when the process standard is known. So we can first write what are the values which are given. So write given p dash is equal to 0.1. So q dash is equal to 1 minus p dash, which is 1 minus 0.1 is equal to 0.9, and n is equal to 100. Now let us write the formula for the upper control limit, or the UCL. So consider UCL is equal to, it is np dash plus 3 times root n p dash q dash. So this is equal to 100 into 0.1 plus 3 times root, it is 100 into 0.1 into 0.9. So on simplification, we get 10 plus 9. So therefore the UCL is equal to 19. 24th question. If q to the power 0 is 300 units, C1 is rupees 10 per unit per year and C2 is rupees 40 per unit per year, then find the maximum inventory level. So this is model 2 of the inventory chapter, that is inventory with shortages. So let us write the formula for the maximum inventory level. So it is consider S to the power 0 is equal to C2 into Q to the power 0 divided by C1 plus C2. So this is equal to 40 into 300 divided by 10 plus 40. So this is 12,000 divided by 50, or we get S to the power 0 is equal to 240, and write the unit of measurement, which is units. Section C, sixth main, answer any four of the following questions. 4 into 5 is equal to 20. 25th question, calculate Kelly's price index number for the following data and comment on the result. So 4 items are given and the prices in the base year and current year are given. So the prices in a base year market as P0 and the prices in the current year market as P1. Number of units sold is a fixed quantity Q. So next let us write Kelly's price index number. So for any price index number, first we start with summation P1 divided by summation P0, and since the weights are the fixed quantities, multiply the numerator and denominator by Q into 100. So now let's form two columns, P1Q and P0Q. So you get 270, then 600, 276, 740, and the total will be 1886. Similarly, find out P0Q. That's 210, 450, 180, 800, and the total summation P0Q is equal to 1640. So now substituting, we get 1886 divided by 1640 into 100. So therefore P01 of K is equal to 115. So now we have to also comment. So what you have to do is the answer which you have got, that is 115, you have to subtract 100, that is the base year index. So you get the resulting value as 15. So next you can write the conclusion. The conclusion will carry 1 mark. So you can write the price in the current year has increased by 15% as compared to the base year price. _26 question, interpolate and extrapolate the profit for the years 2019 and 2025 by using binomial expansion method from the following data. The years are given from 2015 to 2025 with a difference of 2, and the corresponding profit in crores of rupees is given. So first let us mark year as X and profit as Y, and the Y values as Y0, Y1, Y2, Y3, Y4 and Y5. So at this side I have drawn the Pascal's triangle, where first you have the n column where n starts with 0 and then we have the coefficient. So I have written the Pascal's triangle till n equal to 4. So let's start the problem now. Write given the number of known values of y. So the number of known values of y is 4. So we write that is n is equal to 4. Then let us consider the formula. Consider y minus 1 to the power n is equal to 0, which implies y minus 1 to the power 4 is equal to 0. So which implies start with y4, then y3, y2, y1, y0 equal to 0. y4 will have the plus sign, then minus, plus, minus and plus. Then seeing Pascal's triangle, we write the coefficient for n equal to 4. So first you'll have 1 here, which we usually don't write. Then you have 4, 6, 4 and 1. Next, seeing the table, you substitute the values. So 30 minus 4 into 21 plus 6 y2 minus 4 into 14 plus 8 is equal to 0. So which implies 6 y2 plus 30 minus 84 minus 56 plus 8 is equal to 0, which implies 6y2 minus 102 is equal to 0. So which implies y2 is equal to 102 divided by 6, that is equal to 17. So therefore y2 is equal to rupees 17 crores. Next, increase the suffix of y by 1. So which implies, so consider this equation, you should increase only the subscripts but the coefficients will remain the same. So y5 minus 4y4 plus 6y3 minus 4y2 plus y1 is equal to 0. So which implies y5 minus 4 into 30 plus 6 into 21 minus 4 into 17 plus 14 is equal to 0. So which implies y5 minus 120 plus 126 minus 68 plus 14 is equal to 0. So which implies y5 minus 48 is equal to 0, or y5 is equal to rupees 48 crores. #27 question. In a college, 60% of students are girls. In a random sample of 5 students, find the probability of getting 3 girls and at least 1 girl. So this problem is based on the binomial distribution. We know that for the binomial distribution, there are 2 parameters, n and p. So n is the size of the sample, or is the number of trials, and p is the probability of success, which is usually in percentage, decimals or fractions. So let's start the problem. So write given. So first n is equal to 5, p is 60%, so that is 0.6, q is equal to 1 minus p, 1 minus 0.6 is equal to 0.4. Next, let's define x. So x stands for number of girls. Then we write the PMF. P of x is equal to, the formula is NCX, so 5CX, P to the power x, so 0.6 to the power x, Q to the power n minus x, so 0.4 to the power 5 minus x. X takes values from 0 to n, so here x takes values from 0 to 5, and then we write 0 otherwise. Then start with the first subdivision, that is probability of getting 3 girls. So consider probability of capital X equal to 3. This is equal to P of 3, which is 5C3, 0.6 to the power 3, 0.4 to the power 5 minus 3. So 5C3 is 10 into 0.216, 0.4 to the power 2 will be 0.16. So the first answer is probability of x equal to 3 is 0.3456. Subdivision B, at least one girl. So consider probability of capital X, at least means greater than or equal to 1. So in the direct method, it means it is 1, 2, 3 up to 5. So we have to calculate 5 probabilities. So we'll use a formula method, which is 1 minus probability of x less than 1, which is 1 minus probability of the value which is less than 1 is 0. So probability of x equal to 0, which is 1 minus p of 0. So this is 1 minus 5C0, 0.6 to the power 0, 0.4 to the power 5 minus 0. So which is equal to 1 minus 5C0 is 1, 0.6 to the power 0 is also 1, into 0.4 to the power 5 is 0.0102. So we get probability of x greater than or equal to 1 is 0.9898. 28th question. On an average, a telephone operator receives 4 telephone calls per 10 minutes interval. Find the probability that in a particular 10 minutes interval, he does not receive any call, and second, he receives more than 2 calls. So number of calls received by the operator in a 10-minute interval, it follows the Poisson distribution. So the parameter of the Poisson distribution is lambda. So starting the problem, we first write given. Lambda is equal to 4. Next, define x as number of telephone calls in a 10-minute interval. Then we define the PMF of the Poisson distribution. So the PMF is P of x equal to, it is e to the power minus lambda, so e to the power minus 4, lambda to the power x, so 4 to the power x divided by x factorial, and x takes value 0, 1, 2, so on. It is infinite, 0 otherwise. So starting with the first subdivision, we should find the probability that he doesn't receive any call. So start with consider probability of capital X is equal to 0, which is equal to P of 0, that is e to the power minus 4, 4 to the power 0 by 0 factorial. So e to the power minus 4 is 0.0183 into 1 divided by 1. So the first answer is probability of x equal to 0 is 0.0183. So next, moving on to the second subdivision. Consider probability he receives more than 2 calls, means x is greater than 2. So in the direct method, x greater than 2 is like 3, 4, 5, so on till infinity, which cannot be calculated. So use the formula method, which is 1 minus probability of x, because on the left hand side you have greater than, on the right hand side when you use the formula method it becomes x is less than or equal to 2. So which is equal to 1 minus, if you see the range here, x less than or equal to 2 means it is 0, 1 and 2. So you write it as 1 minus probability of x equal to 0 plus probability of x equal to 1 plus probability of x equal to 2, which is replaced as 1 minus p of 0 plus p of 1 plus p of 2. So which is 1 minus p of 0 we have already calculated, which is 0.0183. Then p of 1 will be e to the power minus 4, 4 to the power 1 divided by 1 factorial, and p of 2 is e to the power minus 4, 4 square divided by 2 factorial. So which is 1 minus 0.0183 plus 0.0183 into 4 divided by 1 plus 0.0183, 4 square is 16 and 2 factorial is 2 into 1, which is 2. So on simplification we get 1 minus 0.0183 plus 0.0732 plus 0.1464. So the final answer of probability of x greater than 2 is 0.7621. So remember that probability answer should always lie between 0 and 1. 29th question. The standard deviation of production of wheat is assumed to be 10.2. A sample of 25 acres showed that the standard deviation is 8.2. Test at 1% level of significance whether the standard deviation of production of wheat is less than 10.2. So first, observe that the entire question has the word standard deviation alone. So this problem is based on the chi-square test for the population variance. In this case, it is the population standard deviation. So we need to identify the terms which are given in the problem first. So let us write down what is given. So write given. So now observe the first sentence. It doesn't have the word sample. So it means the first sentence, it is with respect to the population. So the standard deviation of the population, we know that it is denoted by sigma naught, which is equal to 10.2. And then a sample of 25 acres means n is equal to 25, and this standard deviation of the sample is denoted by S, which is 8.2, and alpha is equal to 1%. Next, let's write H naught. So the general format is the population standard deviation is sigma naught, that is sigma is equal to sigma naught. So let us keep it simple. You can write sigma is equal to 10.2 versus H1. Because of the word less than, it will be a left-tailed alternative, that is sigma is less than 10.2. Then under H naught, the test statistic is chi-square is equal to ns square by sigma naught square, which follows chi-square with n minus 1 degrees of freedom. So this is equal to 25 into 8.2 the whole square divided by 10.2 the whole square, which is equal to 25 into 67.24 divided by 104.04. So on further simplification, we get chi-square is equal to 16.1572. Next, we move on to write the conclusion. So the condition for a left-tailed test based on the chi-square test is you have to check whether chi-square is less than or equal to k1, then we reject h naught. So this is the condition which we are going to use. So let us now write the degrees of freedom. Degrees of freedom is n minus 1. So 25 minus 1 is equal to 24. So at 1% level of significance for 24 degrees of freedom, we have K1 is equal to 13.85. Now we come to the last step, that is to write the conclusion. We have to compare chi-square value with K1 value. So since chi-square equal to 16.1572, it is not less than k1 equal to 13.85 at 1% level of significance for 24 degrees of freedom, we accept h naught. So when we accept h naught, we conclude that sigma is equal to 10.2. 30th question. Obtain an initial basic feasible solution for the following transportation problem by matrix minima method. Find the total transportation cost. 3 origins and 4 destinations are given, along with the supplies, which are the availabilities, and demands, that are the requirements. So let us first mark the availabilities or supplies as A1, A2 and A3. Similarly, the requirements as B1, B2, B3 and B4. So when we add the total availabilities and the requirements, we see that it is 200. So summation AI is equal to summation BJ. So this is a balanced transportation problem. So in matrix minima method, the first step is to find out the least cost. Okay, so the least cost here in the matrix is 3. So the first step is the least cost, that is C12 is equal to 3. So we make the allocation as x1, 2 is minimum of a1 comma b2. So which is equal to minimum of a1 is 80 and b2 is 45. So we get x1, 2 is equal to 45. So this is the first allocation which we have got. So we write 45 here in this cell. And now we have to check whether the availability is being satisfied or the requirement is being satisfied. So what we see is that the requirement at D2 is satisfied. So we delete D2 and then the corresponding availability should be changed. Okay, so and we write A1 is equal to A1 minus X12, which is 80 minus 45. That is equal to 35. So we score 80 and then we write 35. Now the next step is we find out the next least cost. So the next least cost is 4. So this is present in cell 3.1. So C3.1 is equal to 4. So X3.1 is minimum of, it will be A3 comma B1, which is minimum of, that is 50 comma 25. So we get x31 is equal to 25. So write the allocation 25 here. Now check whether 25 is matching with the availability or matching with the requirement. So 25 matches with the requirement at D1. So you have to delete D1 and then you have to change the corresponding availability. So you use the formula A3 is equal to A3 minus X31, which is equal to 50 minus 25, which is equal to 25. So cut out 50 and then write 25. Now the next step is to find out the next least cost. So the next least cost which you see in the table is 7. This is present in cell 1.3. So C1.3 is equal to 7. So X1.3 is equal to minimum of A1 comma B3, which is equal to minimum of, it is 35 comma 40. So the least here is 35. So X13 is equal to 35. So write the allocation here as 35. Now check whether 35 is matching with the availability or it matches with the requirement. So we see that 35 is matching with the availability at O1. So we delete O1. So when you delete O1, you have to make a change in the corresponding requirement, and so you'll get B3 is equal to B3 minus X13, that is 40 minus 35, which is equal to 5. So score out 40 and then write 5. Next find out the next least cost. The next least cost is 8. So the fourth step, least cost is 8. So that is present in cell 3.3. So that is C33 is equal to 8. So X33 is equal to minimum of, it is A3 comma B3, which is equal to minimum of A3 is 25 and B3 is 5. So the least is 5. So X33 is equal to 5. So write the allocation 5 in this cell and check whether 5 matches with the availability or it's matching with the requirement. So it matches with the requirement at D3. So you have to delete D3 and then you have to change the availability and you will get A3 is equal to A3 minus X33. So A3 is 25. So 25 minus 5 is equal to 20. So cancel out 25 and then you write 20. Now the next least cost which you see is 9. This is present in cell 3-4. So C34 is equal to 9. So X34 is equal to minimum of A3 comma B4, which is equal to minimum of A3 is 20 and B4 is 90. So you'll get X34 is equal to, the minimum is 20. So X34 is 20. So here you write 20. Now 20, you have to check whether it's matching with the availability or it's matching with the requirement. So you see that 20 matches with the availability at O3. So you have to delete O3. And next you have to change B. So B4 is equal to B4 minus X34, which is equal to B4 is 90. So 90 minus 20 is equal to 70. So score of 90 and then write 70. So the least cost now is 12. So 12 is present in 2-4. So C24 is equal to 12 or X24 is equal to minimum of, it is A2 comma B4, which is X24 is minimum of A2. So A2 is 70 and B4 is also 70. So you get X24 is equal to 70. And so write 70 here, and then this 70, it matches with the availability as well as the requirement. So you have to cancel out O2 and you also cancel out D4. So now there are no costs remaining. So we have obtained the initial basic feasible solution as x12 is 45, x31 is 25, x13 is 35, x33 is 5, x34 is 20 and x24 is equal to 70. So we write the initial basic feasible solution is x12 is equal to 45, x13 is equal to 35, x24 is equal to 70, x31 is equal to 25, x33 is equal to 5 and x34 is equal to 20. Therefore, the total transportation cost is, so it is denoted by Z, which is equal to the allocation into the corresponding cost. So it is 45 into 3 plus 35 into 7 plus 70 into 12 plus 25 into 4 plus 5 into 8 plus 20 into 9. So this is equal to 135 plus 245 plus 840 plus 100 plus 40 plus 180. So therefore we get Z is equal to rupees 1540. 31st question, solve the following game by dominance principle. Is the game fair? So player A has 4 strategies, player B has 3 strategies. For rows, we will check whether the payoffs are greater than or equal to, and for columns whether the payoffs are less than or equal to. So we'll first compare A1 with A2, A3 and A4, then A2 with A1, A3 and A4, A3 with A1, A2, A4 and A4 with A1, A2, A3. If all these don't work out, then you move to B1, compare it with B2 and B3, then B2 you compare with B1 and B3, and then finally B3 with B1 and B2. So let's start the comparison. First I'll compare A1 and A2. Minus 2 is not greater than 0. Then compare A1 with A3. Minus 2 is greater than minus 5. 6 is greater than 3, but 7 is not greater than 8. Next do A1 with A4. Minus 2 is greater than minus 6. 6 is greater than 0, but 7 is not greater than 9. Then do A2 with A1. 0 is greater than minus 2. 5 is not greater than minus 6. 5 is not greater than 6. Then compare A2 with A3. 0 is greater than minus 5. 5 is greater than 3, but 4 is not greater than 8. Next do A2 with A4. 0 is greater than minus 6. 5 is greater than 0, but 4 is not greater than 9. Next do A3 with A1. Minus 4. Minus 5 is not greater than minus 2. 3 is not greater than 6. So next do A3 with A2. Minus 5 is not greater than 0. Then A3 with A4. Minus 5 is greater than minus 6. 3 is greater than 0, but 8 is not greater than 9. Next do A4 with A1. Minus 6 is not greater than minus 2. So the rows don't work out. Next we move to the columns. So for columns it should be less than or equal to. So first compare B1 with B2. So minus 2 is less than 6, 0 is less than 5, minus 5 is less than 3 and minus 6 is less than 0. So now we will write this step, that is B1 dominates B2. So you have to delete B2. So score of B2 column. Next compare B1 with B3. Minus 2 is less than 7, 0 is less than 4, minus 5 is less than 8, minus 6 is less than 9. So we will write B1 dominates B3, delete B3. So now because we have only one column remaining, we have to go back to the rows, and for rows the comparison is greater than or equal to. So compare again A1 with A2. Minus 2 is not greater than 0. Then compare A1 with A3. Minus 2 is greater than minus 5. So you'll write A1 dominates A3. So you delete A3. Next you have to compare A2 with A1. So 0 is greater than minus 2. So you'll write A2 dominates A1, delete A1. So now the only payoff which is remaining is 0. So you have to write therefore the value of the game is 0. Then you also write the best strategies for players A and B respectively are. So it is A2, B1. And the question asked is the game fair? So therefore, the game is fair since the value of the game is equal to 0. Seventh main, answer any two of the following questions. 2 into 5 is equal to 10. 32nd question, marks scored by the students of a class follow normal distribution with mean 60 and standard deviation 6 marks. Find the probability that a student selected at random from the class scored first subdivision more than 75 marks, second subdivision between 54 and 66 marks. It's already mentioned that it is the normal distribution. So normal distribution, as we know, it has two parameters, that is mu and sigma. So start the problem by writing given. So mean means it is mu, which is equal to 60, and standard deviation is sigma, that is equal to 6. Next, define x as marks scored by students. So we write that is x follows normal. It is 60 comma 6 square, that is mu comma sigma square. Now the most important step is to write the standard normal variate formula. That is, we know that z is equal to x minus mu by sigma follows normal 0, 1. So this formula, it is important to write. So now let's start with the first subdivision. Consider probability of x greater than 75. More than 75 means greater than 75. Since the statistical tables for the normal distribution area is given in terms of the z, we have to standardize. So standardizing means from x and 75 should subtract mu and divide by sigma. So x minus mu by sigma is greater than 75 minus mu by sigma. So we get this is equal to probability of x minus mu by sigma is z, which is greater than 75 minus 60 divided by 6. So this is equal to probability of, you will get 15 divided by 6, that is probability of z greater than, it is 2.5. So next let us draw the standard normal curve. So center line is z equal to 0. Then here you mark minus infinity and infinity. Then the value here is 2.5. 2.5 is positive. So mark it on the right tail, that is z equal to 2.5. Now because of the symbol greater than, you have to shade to the right of 2.5. So from 2.5 till infinity you shade and write it in words. This is equal to area from 2.5 to infinity. So remember that from the statistical tables for the normal distribution, we can find out the area from any number to infinity. So using the statistical tables, we get probability of x greater than 75 is equal to 0.0062. So remember that probability answer should always lie between 0 and 1. So now let's move on to the next subdivision. So start with subdivision B. So between 54 and 66 marks. So we start by writing consider probability. First you write 54 then you write is less than x is less than 66. So this is read as x lies between 54 and 66 marks. Again, you have to standardize. So from all the terms within the bracket, subtract mu and divide by sigma. So you'll get 54 minus mu divided by sigma is less than x minus mu divided by sigma is less than 66 minus mu divided by sigma, which is equal to probability of 54 minus 60 divided by 6 is less than z is less than 66 minus 60 divided by 6. So which is equal to probability of 54 minus 60 divided by 6 will be like minus 6 by 6. So you'll get minus 1 is less than z is less than 66 minus 60 by 6 is 6 by 6, which is 1. So let's draw the standard normal curve. The center line is z equal to 0. The extremity is minus infinity and infinity. Then minus 1 is negative. So mark it on the left tail, and 1 is positive. So mark it on the right tail. And z is lying between minus 1 and 1. So you have to shade between minus 1 and 1. So this is equal to area from minus 1 to 1. So the area from minus 1 to 1 we cannot directly find out from the normal tables, but from any number to infinity we can find out. So now look at the starting point of the shading, that is minus 1. So from minus 1 to infinity we find out the area, and then the ending point of the shading is 1. So from 1 to infinity we find out the area. So the larger flower bracket area minus the smaller flower bracket area will give the shaded area. So this is equal to area from minus 1 to infinity minus the area from 1 to infinity. So the area from minus 1 to infinity is 0.8413 from the tables, and the area from 1 to infinity is 0.1587. So the final answer is probability of 54 less than x less than 66 is equal to 0.6826. 33rd question. Following is the data regarding 5 students administered for an IQ test before and after treatment of yoga. So the question is yoga treatment effective in improving IQ? Use 5% level of significance. So when we have the word before and after in the question, it is based on the paired T test. So first we will mark the two columns as x and y, and let's write down what is given, that is n equal to 5 and the level of significance is alpha, which is equal to 5%. Next let us write H naught. So H naught will be the two population means are equal, or in terms of notations you can just write mu1 is equal to mu2. Now I just make a small table at the side as before yoga, and then we will have after yoga. So the mean IQ before yoga is denoted by mu1 and the mean IQ after yoga treatment is denoted by mu2. So the question is yoga treatment effective in improving IQ, or in other words they are asking whether mu2 is greater than mu1. But whenever we write the hypothesis, we will have mu1 first and then mu2. So it means that mu1 is less than mu2. So versus the alternative hypothesis, that is mu1 is less than mu2. So this is a left-tailed test. So let us write the test statistic for a paired t-test. So we write under H naught the test statistic is, it is t equal to d bar divided by sd by root n minus 1, which follows tn minus 1. So I'll just write the other calculations here, where d bar will be equal to summation d by n and sd square will be equal to summation d square by n minus summation d by n the whole square. So let's do the calculations in the table. So first we will find out d, which is d is equal to x minus y. So it is 2 minus 9 minus 7 minus 5 and minus 5. So we get summation d is equal to minus 24. Then you can find out d square, which is 4, 81, 49, 25 and 25. So next find out summation d square. It is 184. So moving back to the calculations in the formula, we will get, so I'll do the calculations here. So you'll get d bar is equal to, it is minus 24 divided by 5. So it is d bar is equal to minus 4.8 and sd square will be equal to, it is 184 divided by 5 minus summation d by n the whole square is minus 4.8 the whole square. So this is equal to 36.8 minus 23.04. So therefore SD will be equal to root of 36.04 minus 23.04. I'm sorry, it will be 36.8 minus 23.04, that is 13.76. So SD will be equal to root of 13.76, which will result in 3.7094. So SD is equal to 3.7094. So substituting all the values in the T formula, we'll get T is equal to minus 4.8 divided by 3.7094 divided by root of 5 minus 1. So you'll get T equal to minus 4.8 divided by 3.7094 divided by 4, or it is minus 4.8 divided by 1.8547, or we get T is equal to minus 2.5880. So continuing the problem, we had obtained t equal to minus 2.5880. So as this is a left-tailed test, let us write the condition for a left-tailed test based on the t distribution. So the condition is t is less than or equal to minus t alpha. Then we reject h naught. So we have to write the degrees of freedom next. So degrees of freedom is n minus 1, which is 5 minus 1 is equal to 4. So at 5% level of significance, for 4 degrees of freedom from the statistical tables, we find that minus t alpha is equal to minus 2.13. So let us write the conclusion. So since t is equal to minus 2.5880, you have to check whether this value is less than minus 2.13. It is less than minus t alpha equal to minus 2.13 at 5% level of significance for 4 degrees of freedom. We reject h naught and conclude that when you reject h naught, it means that you are accepting h1. Mu1 is less than mu2. 34th question. Calculate the control limits for x bar chart when x double bar is equal to 30, r bar is equal to 20 and n is equal to 4. So this is the case when the process standards are unknown. So let us write the control limits for the x bar chart. So I'll write here x bar chart. The 3 sigma control limits are, so it is CL is equal to x double bar, UCL is equal to x double bar plus A2R bar, and LCL is equal to x double bar minus A2R bar. So from the statistical tables, for n equal to 4, the value of A2 is 0.729. Substituting, we get CL is equal to 30, UCL is equal to 30 plus 0.729 into 20, which is equal to 30 plus 14.58, which is equal to 44.58. Similarly, you get LCL is equal to 30 minus 14.58, which is equal to 15.42. So therefore, the final control limits are CL is equal to 30, UCL is equal to 44.58 and LCL is equal to 15.42. Thirty-fifth question. Solve the following linear programming problem graphically Minimize z equal to 10x plus 15y subject to the constraints 4x plus 3y greater than or equal to 24, 4x plus 5y less than or equal to 40, and x comma y greater than or equal to 0. So remember that an LPP should be solved in the graph. The calculations can be done in the answer booklet. So the first step is to convert inequality to equalities. So the first equation will be 4x plus 3y equal to 24 and 4x plus 5y is equal to 40. Step 2 is we have to obtain the points of the two lines. So we'll consider the first equation 4x plus 3y equal to 24. Put x equal to 0. So you'll get 3y is equal to 24 or y is equal to 24 divided by 3 which is 8. Similarly, put y equal to 0 in this equation. So you'll get 4x is equal to 24 or y is equal to 24 divided by 4 which is 6. So 0, 8 and 6, 0 are the 2 points of this line. Now take the second equation. Consider 4x plus 5y equal to 40. Put x as 0. So you'll get 5y equal to 40 or y is 40 by 5 which is equal to 8. Similarly, put y equal to 0. So you'll get 4x is equal to 40 which implies x is 40 by 4 which is equal to 10. So 0, 8 and 10, 0 are the 2 points. Now the third step is to draw the graph. So to draw the graph, you have to take on the x-axis 1 centimeter as 2 units. So take the x-axis from 0 to 10 and the y-axis also you can take from 0 to 10. Next, to draw the graph, so to draw the line 4x plus 3y equal to 24, first we mark 0, 8 on the y-axis here and then 6, 0. Then these 2 points are joined by a straight line and on this line we write the equation 4x plus 3y equal to 24. Similarly, to draw the next line 4x plus 5y equal to 40, the 2 points are 0, 8 and 10, 0. So 0, 8 we have already marked, so that will be the same point here. And on the x-axis you mark 10, 0. Join these 2 points by a straight line and on that line you write 4x plus 5y equal to 10. So make sure that you mark the x-axis, the y-axis and also write the scale, that is x-axis 1 centimeter is equal to 2 units, y-axis 1 centimeter is equal to 2 units. Now the fourth step is to find the feasible region. I'll be explaining it in the next slide, but this I have solved it on a graph. So step 4 is to obtain the feasible region. The above graph is similar to the graph which I have drawn on the graph sheet, but this I have generated on Excel sheet. So first we take the inequality now, not the equation. You consider 4x plus 3y greater than or equal to 24. In this inequality, put both x and y as 0. So on the left hand side, you will get 0 and on the right hand side you have 24. So 0 is not greater than 24. So it is false. So whenever the condition is false, we shade away from the origin, that is on top of the line. Take the other inequality 4x plus 5y less than or equal to 40. Again put x as 0, y as 0. So on the left hand side we get 0 and on the right hand side we have 40. So we see that 0 is less than 40, which is true. So when the condition is true, we shade towards the origin, that is below the line. So observe carefully now. So this is the equation. Let me just change the color. So this is the equation, that is 4x plus 3y equal to 24 and This is the other equation. So this is the other equation, that is 4x plus 5y is equal to 40. So now this particular equation, that is the first equation, that is 4x plus 3y greater than or equal to 24. Okay, it is false, so it is shade away from the origin. So this is the line. So you shade away from the origin means we have to shade on the top like this. And the other equation, that is 4x plus 5y less than or equal to 40, it is true, so we have to shade towards the origin, that is this particular line. So we shade downwards towards the origin, and you will see now where the common feasible region is. So the common feasible region is this triangle which I am indicating on the slide. So these are the corner points of the common feasible region. So what do you mean by common feasible region? The common feasible region should contain both the types of shading. So if it's a minimization problem, you can have either an open figure or a closed figure. But here in this particular problem, the minimization problem has a closed figure, and so we have a feasible solution. So step 5, to obtain the corner points of the feasible region. So this particular triangle, the corner points are denoted by A, B and C. So A is 0, 8, B is 6, 0 and C is 10, 0. Now the last step is to evaluate Z at the corner points. So you take the objective function, consider minimize Z equal to 10x plus 15y. Then find out the value of Z at the point A. So you will get 120. Similarly, find out Z at point B, you will get 60, and evaluate Z at point C, you will get 100. As it is a minimization problem, you have to find out the least value of Z, which is 60. So the conclusion is the given LPP has an optimal solution at B, and then specify the point, that is 6, 0 and Z is equal to 60. Section D, 8th main, answer any two of the following questions. 2 into 10 is equal to 20. 36th question, compute the standardized death rates from the following data and find which locality is more healthier. So the age groups are given, the standard population is given, which we mark as capital P, and find out the total, that is summation P is equal to 30,000. Then the population and deaths for both the localities A and B are given. So let us now start with the calculations. So we can first start with locality A. So write the formula, consider STDR of A is equal to summation PA by summation P. So here A stands for the age specific death rate, that is number of deaths occurring in a specific age group in a year divided by average population in a specific age group in a year into 1000. So both these formulae will carry 1 mark each. So now let us do the calculation for the ASDR values for both the localities A and B. So ASDR formula is the deaths divided by the population into 1000. So now here I will form the column A, which stands for ASDR of locality A. Similarly, the next column is B, and B stands for the ASDRs for locality B, and then the next two columns will be PA and PB. So now let us calculate the ASDR values for locality A. So the first calculation will be 36 divided by 4000 into 1000. So that will be 9. Similarly, the next calculation will be 120 divided by 12,000 into 1000, that is 10. Next is 13 and then 21. Similarly, let us do the calculations to find out B, which are the ASDRs for locality B. So the first calculation will be 27 divided by 3000 into 1000. So you'll get 9. The next calculation will be 12. Then it is 14 and then it is 20. So these two columns will carry 1 mark each. Next, we'll find out PA. So how do you calculate PA? It will be 9 into 2000. So the first calculated value is 18,000. Similarly, the next calculation will be 10 into 16,000, which will be 1,60,000. Similarly, we have 65,000 and 1,47,000. Next, calculate summation PA, which will be 3,90,000. Next, find out PB. So, how do you calculate PB? It will be 9 into the standard population, which is 2000. So, again, we get 18,000. Next will be 12 into 16,000, which is 1,92,000. The next calculation is 70,000. Then we have 1,40,000. Then find out the total summation PB, which is 4,20,000. Now let us go back to the calculations. So let us substitute all the totals in the STDR formula. So we get, therefore, STDR of A is equal to 3,90,000 divided by 30,000. So cancelling out the zeros, we get STDR of A equal to 13. Now similarly, let us do the calculations for locality B. So write the formula. Consider STDR of B is equal to summation PB by summation P. So there's no need to write ASDR formula again, as we have already written it. So you can just substitute the corresponding totals. So it is 4,20,000 divided by 30,000. So we get 14. So therefore, STDR of B is equal to 14. Now coming to the last part, which is the conclusion. So we have to find which locality is healthier. So whichever locality's death rate is lower, that locality will be healthier. So write the lesser value first. So the conclusion is, since STDR of A is equal to 13 is less than STDR of B, which is equal to 14, locality A is healthier. Thirty-seventh question, subdivision A. Calculate the value index number for the following data and comment on the result. This carries 5 marks. So the items are given. Then the price and quantity for the base year 2018 is given, and the price and quantity for the current year 2024 is given. So I've rewritten the table again. So now let us mark the price in the base year as P0, the price in the current year as P1, the quantity in the base year as Q0, and the quantity in the current year as Q1. Now we need to form two columns to calculate the value index number. So before doing the calculations, let us write the formula for the value index number. So the value index number is denoted by V01. So let us write the formula. Consider V01. This is equal to summation P1 Q1 divided by summation P0 Q0 into 100. So going back to the table, let us now do the computations for P1 Q1 and P0 Q0. So let me form the column P0 Q0 and P1 Q1. So it is 40 into 10 is 400. Similarly, the next is 360. Then we have 350 and 180. Similarly, find out P1 Q1. So 50 into 11 is 550. Then we have 520, 480 and 256. Then calculate summation P0 Q0, which is 1290, and then find out summation P1 Q1. So the total is 1806. Now let us substitute these totals in the formula of the value index number. So which implies V01 is equal to 1806 divided by 1290 into 100. So we get V01 is equal to 140. So now to write the conclusion, 140, that is a value index number, should be subtracted from the base year index, that is 100, and we get the resulting value as 40. So write the conclusion. It will be the value in the current year has increased by 40% as compared to the base year value. Subdivision B, compute the consumer price index number by using the family budget method for the following data, and this question carries 5 marks. The different groups are given and the prices in the base year and current year are given along with the weights for each of the groups. So I have formed the table again. So let us write the formula for the family budget method. So write family budget method. So the family budget method, the formula for the consumer price index is CPI is equal to summation WP divided by summation W. So P stands for the price relative. So P is equal to P1 divided by P0 into 100. So each of these formulae will carry 1 mark. Now let us go back to the table and do the calculations. So first let us mark the weights as W. The prices in the base year you mark it as P0, and the prices in the current year you will mark it as P1. So the first step is to find out P, which is P1 divided by P0 into 100. So do the calculation correctly. So it will be 5000 divided by 4000 into 100, which will be 125. Similarly, the next calculation will be 120. Then you will get 109, 130, and the next is 140. We should also find out the total of the weights. So summation W is equal to 90. Now the last column will be WP. So it is 20 into 125, which is 2500. The next one is 3000, 1090, 1950, 2800, and let's find out the total summation WP, which is 11,340. So now substituting these totals in the formula, we will get CPI is equal to 11,340 divided by 90. So therefore CPI is equal to 126. As they have not asked us for the conclusion, we need not write the conclusion. 38th question. Fit an exponential curve of the type y equal to a into b to the power x for the following time series data and estimate the value for the year 2025. The years and the corresponding values are given. So let's start the problem. First write given n equal to 5, which is an odd number. Then write let y equal to a into b to the power x be the exponential equation. The two normal equations are the first one, n log a plus log b summation x is equal to summation log y. Then the second normal equation is log a summation x plus log b summation x square is equal to summation x log y. So to find out x, the formula is deviation from the middle year. So the middle year is 2022 divided by h, where h is the difference between the years. In this case, it will be 1. So let us do the calculations. Years you mark it as x, value you mark it as y. Now find out x, that is 2020 minus 2022 is minus 2. Similarly, you will get minus 1, 0, 1 and 2. So summation x is equal to 0. Similarly, find out x square, that is 4, 1, 0, 1 and 4. The total is summation x square is equal to 10. Log y is calculated by taking 4 places after the decimal after rounding off. So log 15 is 1.1761. Similarly, 1.4314, 1.8976, 2.2479, 2.3118 and log summation log y is 9.0648. Then find out x log y, which is minus 2.3522, minus 1.4314, 0, 2.2479, 4.6236 and summation x log y is 3.0879. Now substitute in both the normal equations. So substituting the first normal equation, we get 5 log A plus log B into 0 is 9.0648, or 5 log A is 9.0648, or log A is 9.0648 divided by 5, which is 1.8129, or A is equal to antilog of 1.8129, which is 64.99. Now take the second normal equation and substitute the values. So you'll get log A into 0 plus log B into 10 is 3.0879, or 10 log B is 3.0879, or log B is 3.0879 divided by 10, which is 0.3088, or B is equal to antilog of 0.3088, that is B is equal to 2.0361. So therefore the fitted exponential trend equation is YC equal to, so now in place of A substitute 64.99, and in place of B it is 2.0361 to the power x. So next let us find the estimate for the year 2025. So estimate for 2025. So this will be calculated when x is equal to, it will be 3. So when x is equal to 3, we'll get y 2025 is equal to 64.99 into 2.0361 to the power of 3, which is equal to 64.99 into 8.4896, so which will give us 548.58. So therefore the value for the year 2025 is approximately 549. Thank you all for watching, and I hope this video was really helpful to all of you. Please look forward to some more question papers which will be solved by me and posted on YouTube.